After the defamation trial between actors Johnny Depp and Amber Heard has captured the attention of the world, it may be trivial in the grand scheme of things, but there's no denying the courtroom drama, especially between two known celebrities, has always piqued the interest of the general public. Not many would expect legal drama from the world of mixed martial arts. After all, most of the people involved in the industry have the opportunity to settle their differences in the cage. However, you'd be shocked to know that the MMA scene has seen its fair share of courtroom drama over the years. In today's video, that's exactly what we're going to look into. Here are some of the most shocking court cases in UFC history. Number 5. Conor McGregor gets sued for rape. We can't have this list without including the UFC's king of controversy, Conor McGregor, so let's start with him. In 2021, the UFC superstar was sued in Ireland by a woman who accused him of raping her in a hotel penthouse in 2018. According to a report from the New York Times, the suit sought between $1.79 million to $2.13 million. This is due to the plaintiff claiming she lost current and future earnings after leaving her work and that she had to leave home and move out of the area. The Dublin native has denied all accusations against him and as of March 2021 remains to be free of any criminal charges. McGregor's spokeswoman Karen J. Kessler also said through a statement that allegations against her client were categorically rejected and that McGregor is confident that justice will prevail. In a separate instance, McGregor pled guilty to one count of disorderly conduct for his infamous bus attack during a UFC 233 press event. The Notorious was subsequently forced to undergo 5 days of community service, 3 days of anger management evaluation, and was required to pay restitution for the damage he inflicted on the UFC fighter bus. Number 4. Jon Jones gets apprehended for domestic violence. Despite being already considered as one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time, Jon Jones is still viewed by many as the biggest waste of potential in the UFC. That's because the former longtime light heavyweight champion has missed out on several years of his prime due to his frequent run-ins with the law. In 2015, Jones found himself at the center of a scandal after he was involved in a hit-and-run accident in Albuquerque. As a result, Bones was stripped of his light heavyweight title and was also suspended by the UFC. In a different incident in 2020, Jones was charged with aggravated DWI and negligent use of firearms. According to New Mexico-based outlet KOAT, Albuquerque police responded to complaints of gunshots being fired and found an intoxicated Jones at the scene. The most disturbing part of Jones' history of law-breaking was his most recent one last year. The UFC superstar was charged with domestic battery in Las Vegas after he reportedly caused physical harm to his fiancée, Jessie Moses. Video footage of Jones getting arrested by the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police went viral online. It was a horrific scene that saw a once promising young star turn into a legitimate menace to society. Number 3. Jorge Masvidal gets arrested for attacking Colby Covington. Jorge Masvidal vs. Colby Covington will always be remembered as a UFC rivalry that was so intense that it spilled out of the cage and into the streets of Miami. Earlier this year, the pair of former best friends turned mortal enemies made headlines after they were involved in a physical altercation. The brawl took place after their UFC 272 main event clash, which saw Covington dominate Masvidal in a span of 5 rounds. Unable to exact vengeance on his rival in the cage, Masvidal apparently decided to give Covington a taste of street justice. On the fateful night of March 21, 2022, Gamebred ambushed an unsuspecting Covington, who was having dinner with members of the Nelk Boys at popular Miami hotspot Poppy Steak. The former 2-time welterweight title challenger suffered a chipped tooth in the encounter and also claimed that his watch, a gold Rolex worth $95,000, sustained $15,000 worth of damage. Consequently, Covington pressed charges on Masvidal, who was then arrested on charges of aggravated battery. Judge Zachary James of Florida's 11th Circuit Court has since placed a stay-away order on Masvidal, meaning Gamebred is no longer allowed to be within 25 feet of Covington's vicinity. Number 2. Mark Hunt sues Dana White and Brock Lesnar. At UFC 200 in 2016, Mark Hunt lost to former heavyweight champion Brock Lesnar, who returned from a 4.5-year absence. However, Lesnar's win was overturned into a no contest after he tested positive for the banned substance clomiphene in both the pre-fight and post-contest drug tests. Needless to say, Hunt was furious at his opponent for cheating, and UFC president Dana White for allowing the fight to push through. As a result, the Super Samoan sued the UFC, White, and Lesnar, claiming the promotion knew about his opponent's use of a banned substance before their fight. In 2019, most of Hunt's claims were dismissed by a U.S. District Court in Nevada. The only one that held up was a claim of breaking the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing. However, that too was later thrown out, and the UFC was awarded a summary judgment. Hunt kept fighting though. Hunt's lawyers appealed, and in September 2021, the United States Courts of Appeals declared that his charges of fraud and battery are valid. Unfortunately, Hunt and his legal team were outmatched by the UFC's deep pockets and their army of lawyers. A recently revealed March 2021 court filing showed that the UFC is looking to extract nearly $400,000 in attorney fees and costs. Number 1. Cain Velasquez faces attempted murder. Cain Velasquez's trial is possibly the most controversial legal case in the history of the sport. The former UFC heavyweight champion was arrested on charges for attempted murder after he was involved in a shooting that took place in Morgan Hill, California in February. According to multiple reports, Velasquez allegedly shot at a car comprising 3 individuals, including Harry Galarte Jr., a man charged with molesting one of Velasquez's young relatives. In the aftermath of the incident, Velasquez received an outpouring of support from fans as well as his fellow fighters. The social media hashtag #FreeCain trended heavily on Twitter as Velasquez's supporters claimed his actions were justified. However, the retired UFC superstar has since spent time behind bars and was denied bail twice. If proven guilty, he could face at least 20 years of jail time. And that about does it for today's list. Don't forget to follow Sportskeeda MMA on all of our social media platforms.